Mid-air horror, Shanghai-Beijing flight plunges twice, cabin crew and passengers thrown to the ceiling. Rumors circulate, waiting hall of Suzhou University-affiliated hospital filled with leukemia patients. Power outage on hot day claims the lives of 4,000 chickens at Hubei poultry farm. The epidemic hit Zhongnanhai. Xi Jinping wears mask, rumors of Qin gangs confirmed diagnosis. Report reveals CCP's development of neurological weapons and massive brain warfare efforts. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Mid-air horror, Shanghai-Beijing flight plunges twice, cabin crew and passengers thrown to the ceiling. On July 10, Air China flight CA-1524 from Shanghai Hongqiao to Beijing Capital Airport experienced severe turbulence during the flight. The flight took off from Shanghai Hongqiao Airport at 15:24 on the 10th and landed at Beijing Capital International Airport at 17:18. In the evening of the 10th, eyewitness and mainland science writer Xing Lida posted on his Weibo account, saying that there was a thunderstorm in East China when he was flying back from Shanghai to Beijing on the 10th. The first half of the flight was relatively smooth, but in the last 30 to 40 minutes, people were going back and forth to the restroom. Suddenly, there was a drop, and everyone got scared and quickly sat back down. Afterwards, they felt extremely fortunate to have had that time window because within a very short interval, there was another violent drop that threw the flight attendants and passengers who were helping passengers return to their seats up to the ceiling. The signs indicating the emergency exits were shattered, and the ceiling was kicked open. Those who were thrown up suffered injuries. The passengers were all startled by this incident. The eyewitness described the experience as like blindly wandering around. They said, CA-1524, I almost thought my life was going to end on this flight. Water bottles and pillows were flying everywhere, flight attendants were lying on the floor, and everyone was screaming. When it finally stabilized, the flight attendant picked up a bunch of phones and looked for their owners. I'm so scared that I dare not go on a roller coaster at Disneyland. This altitude difference is like a roller coaster multiplied by 1,000. When the plane landed, everyone applauded. The passengers stated that they have not received any explanation from the airline regarding this incident. In response to this, a customer service representative from Air China stated that they have not yet received any notification about the incident and are currently unable to provide a response. On the 1st, this incident made it to the hot search list, and many netizens who had experienced it expressed their thoughts. A netizen said that can be considered fortunate. Today, there was a flight from SHA, Shanghai, that was struck by lightning. They changed to another plane and didn't depart from Xiamen to Shanghai until 4:30 in the early morning. Adverse weather conditions are really not suitable for flying. Another said, after being frightened by Air China, every time I experience turbulence, I become very fearful. Although Air China is professional, I secretly fear flying with them and always have this superstition that I'm not suited to fly with Air China. It feels so severe. I've experienced wind shear once. Although everyone fastened their seat belts throughout the entire turbulence on that occasion, it was still terrifying. My heart felt so uncomfortable, and then some people started vomiting. After getting off the plane and getting on the shuttle, there were people lying on the floor, still vomiting. Rumors circulate, waiting hall of Suzhou University-affiliated hospital filled with leukemia patients. The Twitter account Truth Media posted a video on July 10 claiming that on July 8, at the Suzhou University-affiliated hospital, it's all leukemia. Has an outbreak occurred from the vaccines? The video shows a crowded waiting hall in the hospital, with many people sitting and waiting. It should be noted that the time, location, and detailed content of the aforementioned video information cannot be independently verified at this time. In mainland China, many children are currently suffering from leukemia. According to a video posted on July 10 by the Weibo account Free Matchmaking Group for Unvaccinated Individuals _Shandong Laolu, it said, "It's terrible. So many children have leukemia. The video shows a 12-year-old boy from Zhengzhou, Hunan province, who suddenly vomited while eating at school on September 9 last year. Upon examination, he was diagnosed with T-cell lymphoblastic leukemia, a type of malignant tumor. After a bone marrow transplant, he is now experiencing rejection, which is difficult to treat. On June 14, the Weibo account Gui Dongfang also posted a message expressing sadness after coming across a post about leukemia, saying, "I've been feeling sad for a long time. Tragedies are not only happening online but also around us." The user gave an example of when they were in Beijing and a classmate suddenly sought help, asking if there were any connections to Chinese cancer hospitals or, if not, Beijing Children's Hospital, as their child had leukemia and they wanted to seek medical treatment in Beijing. However, in the end, the child passed away, the house was sold, the car was sold, and even the house of the elderly family members was sold. There are many messages on the Weibo platform from leukemia patients, most of whom are children. The youngest is only 2 years old. Their families are almost on the brink of desperation due to the exorbitant medical expenses, struggling to save their loved ones, and facing financial ruin. According to a report by Radio Free Asia in May of last year, a group of leukemia patients from over 30 provinces and autonomous regions in China issued 2 consecutive open letters alleging that they developed leukemia as a result of receiving the Chinese COVID-19 vaccine. They faced suppression and stability maintenance when petitioning, were told by journalists that reporting on their cases was prohibited, and lawyers were unwilling to represent them in lawsuits. After the National Health Commission responded to these allegations in a press conference, the related news was taken down, leaving only statements from experts at the National Health Commission. Several groups conservatively estimated that the number of people who developed leukemia suddenly after receiving the vaccine should exceed tens of thousands. The open letters pointed out that after receiving the COVID-19 vaccine in 2021, they experienced varying degrees of symptoms such as fever, cough, and difficulty breathing. After hospital examinations, we were all diagnosed with acute leukemia. They come from various professions and range in age from 3 to over 70 years old. The vaccines they received were primarily from Sinovac Biotech, but other vaccines were also involved. Most people were diagnosed with leukemia a few days after experiencing symptoms following vaccination. Power outage on hot day claims the lives of 4,000 chickens at Hubei poultry farm. According to a video report by King Fengxia, on July 9, at a chicken farm in Suizhou, Hubei, over 4,000 chickens were found dead due to extreme heat. This was the result of a circuit failure and subsequent power outage of the fans caused by a line misconnection. The alarm system failed to sound in time, leading to the chickens succumbing to the heat and perishing. Ms. Yao, the person involved, stated that she discovered the dead chickens around 11 p.m. A tragic incident resulted in a direct loss of over 200,000 renminbi, approximately $28,000. Currently, all the deceased chickens have been arranged to be buried using excavators. The report mentioned that what saddened Ms. Yao even more was that most of the income from the farm had been invested in construction, leaving very little money saved in the end. Ms. Yao mentioned that the money used to purchase the chickens was borrowed, and since the batch of chickens was not insured, there is no way to process any compensation. China is experiencing a prolonged period of high temperatures in various regions. Since June, temperatures exceeding 40 degrees Celsius (104 degrees Fahrenheit) have been observed in Beijing, Hebei, Shandong, Tianjin, and other areas. Tragically, cases of heat stroke-related deaths have been reported in Beijing and Hebei. On July 11, the official start of the Sanfu Tian period, signifies the onset of truly hot weather. Sanfu Tian refers to a period of 3 10-day intervals in the traditional Chinese calendar that are believed to be the hottest days of the year. It typically occurs during the summer months, specifically in July and August. The epidemic hit Zhongnanhai. Xi Jinping wears mask, rumors of Qin gangs confirmed diagnosis. On July 9, the Hong Kong media outlet Singtao Daily reported that Qin Gang, a state councillor and Minister of Foreign Affairs for the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, disappeared from the public eye after meeting with the foreign ministers of Sri Lanka and Vietnam, as well as the Deputy Foreign Minister of Russia, on June 25. According to the report, on the afternoon of July 4, Chinese leader Xi Jinping attended the meeting of the Council of Heads of State of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, member states via video link from Beijing. Normally, Qin Gang would accompany Xi Jinping, along with Wang Yi, a member of the Political Bureau of the CCP and director of the Central Foreign Affairs Commission. However, Qin Gang was absent. Foreign media reports indicated that a lunch meeting between Qin Gang and European Union (EU) ambassadors, originally scheduled for late June, was abruptly cancelled. Josep Borrell, the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, had planned to visit China from July 7 to 10, but the trip was called off shortly before departure, and the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs did not provide any explanation for the cancellation. The report also mentioned that during a press conference at the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs on July 7, foreign media asked whether Qin Gang's disappearance was due to health reasons. Chinese spokesperson Wang Wenbin responded by saying, "I haven't heard about the situation you mentioned." The report analyzed that Wang Wenbin's response neither confirmed nor denied Qin Gang's illness. It further revealed that there were reports stating that Qin Gang had disappeared after testing positive for the new coronavirus and had been on rest for half a month. A recent article in Vision Times raised the question of whether Qin Gang's prolonged absence is related to the current new coronavirus situation in China or other unforeseen circumstances. The details are unknown to the outside world. However, publicly available official data from the CCP indicates a significant increase in the number of infections and deaths due to the recent resurgence of the new coronavirus in China. It is also worth noting that Xi Jinping wears a mask when he goes out, highlighting the seriousness of the fear surrounding the epidemic. Analysts speculate that if Qin Gang indeed contracted the new coronavirus, it would imply that the epidemic has reached the highest level of power in the CCP's central leadership compound in Zhongnanhai. However, the authorities have not officially acknowledged this to date. Meanwhile, on July 10, several individuals posted online, confirming the ongoing existence of the epidemic in China and its highly infectious nature. One person stated, "I arrived in Beijing for a business trip and immediately tested positive." According to the new coronavirus infection situation report released by the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention on July 5, there were 1,968 severe cases and 239 deaths from the new coronavirus in June, significantly higher than the 164 cases reported in May. The report did not specify the exact number of infections. Additionally, the report indicated that on June 30, fever clinics across 31 provinces, autonomous regions, municipalities, as well as the Xinjiang Production and Construction Corps, received a total of 164,000 patient visits. Due to the CCP's consistent concealment of the epidemic, the true situation remains unclear. Report reveals CCP's development of neurological weapons and massive brain warfare efforts. Recently, a report titled Enumerating, Targeting and Collapsing the Chinese Communist Party's Neurostrike Program pointed out that many people are unaware that the CCP and the People's Liberation Army, PLA, have established their position as world leaders in the development of neurological strike weapons. This report, co-authored by Ryan Clark, Senior Research Fellow at the East Asia Institute of the National University of Singapore, Lin Xiaoxiu, former microbiologist in the U.S. Army, and L.J. Eads, former Air Force intelligence officer and current AI expert in the U.S. intelligence community, highlights that the CCP is developing neurological strike weapons that can directly attack or control the brain using microwave or other directed energy, making the dangers of brain warfare no longer confined to theory. Lin Xiaoxiu stated, "One aspect is strategically influencing the enemy, while on the other hand, it has a whole set of different levels of attack methods to create specific panic, fear, and other conditions in a region or among a population. This is something that people may not have been aware of in the past." Lin pointed out that in the past, many speculated that the CCP used microwave weapons to attack the human nervous system, leading to the occurrence of Havana syndrome, characterized by symptoms such as hearing loss, dizziness, nausea, fatigue, and memory decline for unknown reasons. However, Lin stated that this type of attack is just one aspect of the issue. He said, "This report aims to provide everyone with a broader picture, which means that the CCP actually has a comprehensive strategic plan." These authors believe that the CCP leadership considers neurological attacks and psychological warfare as core components of its asymmetric warfare strategy against the United States and its Indo-Pacific allies. The report states, any breakthrough in this research will provide unprecedented tools for the Chinese Communist Party to forcibly establish a new world order, which has always been Xi Jinping's lifelong goal. According to author Lin Xiaoxiu, under the framework of military-civilian integration, the CCP's military has made significant investments in the research and development of neuronal systems, brain-machine interfaces, microwave weapons, and how to further control information using supercomputers. It is gradually moving towards this direction. That's why we say it's not just a theoretical exploration, but it is actually being developed and making breakthroughs in this direction. Commentator Xing Haochang pointed out that mind control is invisible, intangible, and inaudible. It can be used for remote attacks and is difficult to trace back to its source. If weaponized, it poses a significant threat to operators of critical military facilities and senior military and political officials. Now, it is rare to have such professional and systematic research, which is of great value. The report warns that the CCP's 3 warfare actions targeting Taiwan, Hong Kong, the South China Sea, and the China-India border are ongoing, and the risks associated with the use of new brain warfare are increasing. The report calls on the U.S. to engage in international talks and policy remedies regarding neurological weapons, proactively disrupt the key supply chains of specific institutions or companies involved in brain warfare research, and increase sanctions on all CCP civil and military projects related to brain warfare. Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.